many more seconds than you'll ever gain in traffic.
We're being told this rain is going to finish in just over 10 minutes' time. The interest then is going to be how long those on the wet tyres persevere with them and how quickly the road dries.
It's not as wet as it was when it was really wet in the second rain shower, is it? At least not for much of the lap. So we may end up having shorter stints because the tyres are going to go away pretty darn quickly.
But it is the coldest point, and I don't see the track drying as quickly. So actually the wet tyre might hang on in there for that bit longer.
And actually, the wind, the breeze, well, wind actually there was earlier on, is definitely not there when I was walking in just before the rain arrived. Normally you feel the wind pick up and the dust and the grit starts to blow, and it wasn't.
Looks wetter here, doesn't it, on the Mulsanne straight as you ride with Joel Sturm back at the wheel of the class-leading Porsche in LMGT3. He's being a bit of a trooper, having done a number of stints, Joel Sturm. A Sturm trooper, possibly, therefore. But he kept us down towards Mulsanne corner, still clearing the lead of the class.
Looking at that weather map, look where we are compared to what's on the left. No, I'm not sure I'd say that's 10 minutes from ending.
No.
It might get a bit more Otter's pocket down here than not.
And that's what the teams are banking on, because they were told it was going to get heavier. That's why they've all gone on to wets. Previously, as Rob and I were discussing, there was some that braved it out on slicks, some did go for wets. This time, no hesitation, no argument, wets, 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 up and down the pit lane.
Yeah. Cold tyre, dark, plus rain, plus cold track. Yeah, it's...
a heady cocktail.
Yes. And as Anthony Davidson was saying earlier, when it was particularly wet, said, there are times I really miss being in a racing car, and this ain't one of them.
No, Rob has said much the same, haven't you? More than once, I think.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, I thought racing drivers relished a challenge. I thought that was the whole thing, like you and I, David.
We often say that.
However...
So do we.
Yeah.
However, yeah, David did run the track and I didn't, so you can see where the challenge taking up was split there. Still carrying decent speed, you know, in the drier parts of the track, and again, you know, drier through the Porsche curves here, drier, less wet, let's say. There's no sign of a dry line yet, but these big, fat, hot slicks will start to dissipate the water.
Absolutely right. Drive-through penalty just being offered now to number 87 for speeding in the pit lane. 87 is the Lexus of Takeshi Kimura, Esteban Masson, Jack Hawksworth. It was, I think I'm right in saying, Jack that was being investigated, and the outcome is speeding, yes, guilty. So it's a drive-through, and that's going to cost them just a little bit more time.
It's a phrase I've never heard, a penalty being offered to. Would you like a drive-through? No, not really. Oh, well, never mind, you're having one. That's sort of like your mother saying, would you like to go to bed early with no tea? No, not really. Up the stairs, off you go, Sunbeam.
Well, Jack Hawksworth is having no tea, and he's up the stairs because he has been the one caught speeding.
Well, that's a shame, actually, because he's only 46 seconds ahead of Alex Riberas in the heart of racing Aston Martin, so he's going to lose at least one place. And Augusto Farfus only 19 seconds behind them in the 31 WRT BMW, which is slowly dragging itself back up the order. So, in fact, he's going to lose a couple of spots.
Joel Sturm, in the meantime, trying to build this gap. 7 seconds he has in hand over Maurice Schöring. And riding with him for the bulk of the lap is really interesting to see where it's wetter. And it's on this part, isn't it? From the Mulsanne all the way round to sort of the exit of Arnage. That's where it's wetter and more slippery. And when those hypercars came past on the previous lap and kicked the spray up, then you get a real indication of how wet it is. The wiper working overtime down towards the first chicane.
Interesting, though. I mean, the weather's coming from the west, so the left of the map, as you're looking at it, towards the east, so where the 92 little icon is coming down the Mulsanne straight. But the Mulsanne, of course, is largely hemmed in by trees, whereas the Porsche curves and the run from Arnage predominantly are not. So water that goes up in the air tends to come back down at the straight, and any breeze on the other side, on the more easterly part of the track, tends to help the water dissipate a little bit. And of course, you can see here, there's still a lot of spray in the air from the car in front. And we're in a car that is not the slowest in its class, but is in the slowest class. So Joel Sturm in this category, leading GT3 Manthey Pure Racing Porsche. Still got... there's somebody not too far in front of him who I'm assuming must be a GT car, because it doesn't